All right, everybody, welcome to another edition here on the Pattison Report podcast. As always, I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. And we don't usually try to do these while our teams are playing, just for obvious reasons. You all, and us included, would rather be watching the big screen with the Phillies on it. But this week, with them starting a little bit later for the Field of Dreams game, there wasn't really a way around it. So we're gonna try to make this snappy so we can get back to it. The Phils are up 5-1, 2 homers already for Schwarber. Everybody seems to be
one and a half.
1.5. Sorry,
one and a half. Technically,
should have been brought back. Somehow wasn't. The wind helped there a ton.
Wind's nasty there.
Yeah, I mean you could see. What was it? I forget who's out in right for Minnesota.
Kershaw? Is it Kershaw?
Yeah.
Kershaw.
He had to track it almost from right center back to just about the foul line. And it still managed to get out of there just off the tip of his glove. Schwarber's first one was a no-doubter. But it is kind of funny that, I mean, if you look at the stadium, one, it's absolutely incredible. It's in the middle of a cornfield. They do a great job with this every year. But you look at the flags in right field, and it is blowing like gale force winds hard back into the field of play, and Kyle's gone deep to right now twice. It just goes to show how much power is in that swing for a relatively short, small guy. But it's good to see him kind of getting back on track. 17-game homerless streak after the break, after the Derby. But Kyle seems to be back in full form. Nola looks pretty decent tonight. A little bit of trouble early, but he's been better since. So we'll start off talking just about the good product we're seeing on the field right now, and then we'll get into the rest as the episode goes along.
Yeah, I mean, the field's incredible. What more could you ask for? Like when they were playing but when they were playing the score from the movie and the legends were walking in, it made me feel some kind of way, man. Like
it's awesome.
Yeah, I could get a better broadcast, but having all those legends walk in and just having the iconic score going in the background, man, how can you not be romantic about baseball, man?
It really, yeah, I'm with you. And tonight's one of those nights. It was cool special. getting to see like some of like and we're gonna get into Mattingly here in a second. But Mattingly, the person, it was pretty neat to see. Like he felt some type of way about it. Clearly, he was taking infield practice over at first. Just I saw him playing catch with our now GM, his son Preston Mattingly. The guys have talked about how meaningful it is. Like it's just one of those games where I'm sure over the course of 162 it gets to be kind of monotonous, kind of business-like. And I mean, tonight seems like a pretty cool break for these guys, where like it's like Sandlot ball again. It's baseball's fun for one night. I think for everybody.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'll say it. Football and basketball never have you feeling like this. Like,
no.
Of course, I'll be chanting from my couch when they roast a Pop-Tart in 4 months, but like, this is a different kind of feeling.
Yes, there's no sport, in my opinion, captures nostalgia quite the way baseball does. And I think it's because there's such a low barrier of entry for baseball. Basketball, there's a set of skills that in order to play and enjoy it, you have to have. Football, similarly. Baseball, there's very little stopping the average person from going out into the driveway, their backyard, field, whatever, with their pops and having catch. So when you get to see a game like this, it takes you back to like, man, I remember why I fell in love with baseball in the first place. And that's the only sport that does it, and it's pretty cool when it happens.
Yeah, it's really neat. Like I said, the other sports just don't do it. We love them for their own reasons, but it's just something different about the atmosphere, Looking out, they show it's not a skyline. They just show rows of corn and rows of nothing. Like you don't get that anywhere else. Like it's incredible.
This was a pretty great idea that the MLB had. They did it.
One of few.
Yes, the first year was a pop-up just to see how it went. It was pretty successful. Second year, awesome. They built another pop-up stadium, but then now to have this permanent fixture out here at the Field of Dreams Park, where seemingly every year this is going to be a thing now. They built a really nice stadium. I like the fact they kept it small. Like I think it's 8,000 people. The scoreboard being the old school like faux wood with people out there on the ladder putting stuff like they just did it right, and I think that's something that baseball, like you said, does so rarely. But as rarely as they do it, I still think their track record's pretty good. With they know what their fastball is. It's nostalgia, and they do that really really well.
Yeah, they have it.
Yeah, so the game's been awesome. The Phils being up 5-1 has been great to see. Like I said, Noel's pitching well. The bats are working. So tonight's been a really fun day to be a fan. But since the All-Star break, that hasn't necessarily been the case. And I am curious to see your opinion here, because you are generally pretty quick on the trigger as far as managers running out of goodwill. Don Mattingly obviously came in, was the spark the team needed, turned him around. I always said from the get-go, and I still believe this now watching this product, that it wasn't so much him being hired, it was Rob being fired that kind of sparked this team and turned the season around. And now that the momentum has passed, the team is what it is, the deadline has passed, and Mattingly is having to manage the guys as they are, you're starting to see why he's bounced around the league so much and why he's had so many managerial positions. Say what you will about Rob, but I thought he got the most out of guys that maybe didn't have an awful lot else. And, his big downfall was he would believe in guys too much. He would, keep putting guys out there who he thought might be able to do something one day.
He believed in the wrong guys.
He believed in the wrong guys for too long. But Mattingly is that times 10.
Yeah,
I mean, you got, what was it, the other day, I think it's great that Alex McFarlane came up. I think it was asinine to expect him to jump into a 0-0 game, 2, 3, 4 hitters up. I don't know what on earth Mattingly's thinking there. Same thing with Alvarado. Look, I get that he has this nasty stuff. He's been good in the past. He's not good this year, and I'm really getting frustrated with him being the guy to come in and, seventh inning in a jam, eighth inning to get it to Duran. That's just not who he is. And, I mean, Mattingly is somehow even slower to these realizations than Rob was.
Yeah, it's really tough. And like you said, I am the quickest to just say, hey, we need to get this guy out of here pronto. I mean, I'm here with that, but there's no one to replace him. So it's kind of. Yeah.
But Alex Cora is going to be managing this team next year.
Absolutely. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
I don't care that he cheated in the past. I can't watch this anymore.
I can't watch this anymore, but it's like, I don't care. We have LeBron. Anyway.
Yeah. The Phillies are, I've never said this ever since I started doing anything in broadcasting. So probably the last 9 years, I have never been able to say the Phillies sure are lucky that they have the Sixers. Those words have never come out of my mouth.
I mean, the Phillies are they're the beneficiaries of goodwill repeatedly. Yeah. I mean, they were really bad. I mean, they were good, but they were bad because they lost a series they shouldn't have. But then the Eagles went and won a Super Bowl, so nobody cared. Now the Sixers have LeBron, so nobody cares.
Yeah, it's, and October will come around. LeBron's going to be brand new in the Sixers. The Phillies are going to be a bonus. Opener. Yeah. I mean, the timing is impeccable for them, but I mean, I have a hard time, and everybody on the team keeps telling me I should, and Mattingly, obviously, Harp, and all these guys, and I just can't take this iteration of the Phillies seriously. I don't look ahead to October and have any sort of confidence that we're gonna matter. I mean, we could squeeze in, sure. That's not a guarantee, by the way. We come into today tied for the very last wild card spot, and if you look at our September, it sucks. We end the year having to go back-to-back series with the Rays and the Brewers, and you're assuming in those 2 weeks we're going to be fighting for a wild card spot, playing two of the hottest teams in baseball. So, I mean, there's a chance this Phillies team doesn't even make the playoffs this year.
Look, I think we talked about it a couple months ago. I wanted to be a seller at the deadline, and I feel like I feel like I got reinforced with what I saw Adley Rutschman go for. I mean, Boston basically paid their whole farm for Adley Rutschman, who's up
For
and
a guy who
down.
hasn't been good in a couple seasons.
Yeah, I mean, what could we have got for someone like Duran or like, there's probably no one else on the team that's tradable. I mean, you don't move
Yeah, I
these
mean,
other
Duran's
guys.
valuable. You could look at maybe Marsh coming off of an All-Star game, but he's so
That
cheap. He's almost worth
it would
having
ruin
around.
clubhouse vibes. I
Yeah,
think it's the whole clubhouse vibes thing. I mean, you know, Arise gets here, he goes 0 for 16. We have to talk about that, an 0 for
yeah, the
16
Kevin Long
stretch.
effect.
Did you see that video of the dude in the batting cage?
No,
The Kevin Long effect, and it's just like the toy cars coming out of nowhere, and they're like,
um, but
yeah,
he's never gone like 0 for 16 in his career, and Kevin Long gets his hands on him and forgets how to hit a baseball. Now tonight, I believe he has 2 hits, but nevertheless.
yeah, he's been solid tonight. But it's funny how we're like, oh, Caleb Cotham, lifetime contract. Where's the statue? And Kevin Long, we're like, why?
Get him out. Pitchforks, run him out of town. But it's true. I mean, who has improved under his tutelage? Bryson Stott is leveled off, you could argue. Brandon Marsh probably is his only success story, I would say, where he came to us from the Angels as a defensive specialist, and whether it's Kevin Long's doing or not, has turned into a pretty solid hitter. I mean, as a Philly, he's always in that 270 to 280 range, which is great. But everybody else has regressed. Trey regressed. Harper leveled off. Justin Crawford's a rookie. It's hard to really say right now. Alec Boehm is on any other franchise would be unplayable. I don't know what he has on whether it be Dombrowski or Matt. I don't know what he's got on this organization where he is as untouchable as he appears. But his OPS now is back under 7. I don't understand how he's still on the field.
I mean, that's management. It's plain and simple. I mean, sure, you got to look who you could go and get. And, there's a lot of factors, not just, hey, we don't want to play him anymore. But I agree. It's just so hard to have what it feels like a guaranteed out. And then the defense isn't great. I mean, Bryson Stott, kudos to him, man. He went to third, and he looks like an all-world defender over there.
He's just a good infielder regardless. I mean, I've seen him make a couple of incredible plays at third. I think it was it might have been his second or third game over there. He had that real slow dribbler crossbody, fired a laser to Boehm for the out. And you saw Al take his glove off, like, holy shit. I mean, you and I had both talked, like, going from second to third, you worry about the arm, and clearly he has enough of an arm.
Mm-hmm. He had one tonight as well, where he was, across the body, charging a slow roller. So it's just nice. I mean, I'm on the extend Bryson Stott train. I mean, he's a good ball player. He's good enough at the plate. He's not a total zero. He's not going to wow you or anything, but he's just such a good infield presence to have that you need him on this team, especially with Trey Turner. I mean,
going to the outfield hopefully as soon as possible.
I thought we should have pulled the trigger at the trade deadline. You move.
I agree. The only thing I can think of is that he's real bad out there, and they couldn't get him up to speed in time. That's the only thing that makes sense.
That would have me nervous. That deal is not going to age well. We knew it at the start of the deal, but we only got like 1 or 2 good years out of it.
Yeah, I'm with you where I was hoping for more. But you tell me
4 or 5.
Another guy who another star, I guess, who you're a little worried about, probably for the first time in his career because he's just been so damn good all the time, is Wheels. And has nothing to do for me with the bumpy couple of starts because that's going to happen. Chris Sanchez had him, what have you. There's something off with him. He's going 4 innings. The velo isn't the same. The bite on his pitches isn't the same. They pulled him out that one game early for a little bit of soreness. They said it was nothing, but he hasn't looked quite right ever since. So I'm not worried about him in is he washed or whatever kind of sense. Is like something's up with him. And for this team to make any kind of noise, it's going to be on the back of our pitching staff. And Wheels no matter how old he is, injured he is, no matter how good Chris Sanchez is, if we're being honest, that this pitching staff goes as Wheels goes. If there's a big game, he is your guy. So I'm a little nervous about what his deal is.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go back. I'm in full football mode because like we're 23 days away from the
Yeah.
Wednesday opener. Wednesday opener, I don't understand, but it'll be interesting to see if his mechanics change because there's a lot of talk on the timeline about Paul Skeens. You
I
know,
can see it.
his mechanics have changed and his velo has dipped significantly. I wonder if it's because of an injury that Wheeler's has done the same. Like it's concerning for these pitchers because you tweak your throwing motion and like you said, this game can get monotonous and it's 162 games. You start 30 sometimes. If you tweak that motion just a little bit, it kind of lingers and you kind of, form that new habit of, hey, my arm was a little bit,
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I pitch like this now, and now his velo continues to decrease. So maybe there's something that someone will uncover. Maybe I'll have the time to go and look at it. I hope so, but I doubt it. But it maybe could be something, in his pitching motion that changed because of the discomfort.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Maybe it is, but there's something nagging at him. The Skeens is an interesting one, and this guy, obviously tremendous pitcher, Philly, the whole 9 yards. I also think personally he's a colossal asshole, but to each their own. But Kurt Schilling had a real long post or research or whatever you want to call it. To his credit, early about this new wave of pitchers: Paul Skeens, Cam Schlittler. I mean, Wheels wasn't mentioned; he was established, and they're different. But just about how some of these guys can throw hard effortlessly, and some of them throw hard, and you can see it's maximum effort on every pitch, and they throw violent. And one of the guys he highlighted was Paul Skeens, where he's like, look, it's impressive. He can get 100, 101, 102, on these fastballs, but his arm whips back so violently. His hips are violent. Like, it's not fluid and smooth. And he pointed out then that, this guy's going to have a great 4 or 5 years, but he can't sustain this. Your body can't do that over and over and over again. And I mean, I'm hoping he's wrong, but you're seeing that this year with Skeens where, like you said, the velo is down. The stuff's not quite, the bite isn't quite the same on his pitches. And, the human body can only do so much. And these guys who maybe don't have the perfect mechanics and overcome it with effort, it's going to catch up with you. Now, I think Zach's different. I mean, he's thrown 95, 96 his entire career, and he knows how to do it safely and efficiently. But it does just kind of speak to that. You're all human, and we're not meant that motion inherently in baseball is so unusual and so against what that joint is supposed to do, that you're right. If there's any kind of discomfort, your body's going to find a way around it. And all of a sudden now you have a different pitching motion. You have a hitch somewhere that you didn't have before. And it can take a while to get that back. I mean, on his own staff, Luzardo is a great example. When he's right, he is untouchable. And mid-season, he usually gets right. But you've seen him go off the rails for 2 or 3 weeks at a time where he changes something, doesn't even know it. So pitchers are finicky.
They really are. It's, one perfect motion over and over and over again, 100 times a game, sometimes more, sometimes less. But it's really hard to, perfect that. Like, it's insanely hard. And it's insanely hard to throw 100 miles an hour. And like you said, it does damage on the ligaments. And, it'll be interesting to see how Mizorowski's career unfolds because he's just throwing 1-on-3 all the time, but it kind of looks effortless for him.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because it is
looks effortless for him. So it looks different than the Skeens and the Schlittlers and all those guys. That's why games like Christopher Sanchez, who rely so heavily on the motion with the changeup, their game's going to age better because they're not, trying to light 100 on the gun all the time. Same with Luzardo. So
and both of those guys are sneaky. Like I'm with you 100%. I mean, Luzardo's breaking pitches are so disgusting. I mean, he has a great sweeper. What Chris does with the changeup is like Cole Hamels-esque. It's one of the best changeups in baseball, and he's really a 2-pitch pitcher because it's so good. But both of those guys, like I didn't realize with Chris. I think I knew Luzardo threw hard. But I mean, you'll see Chris dot 96. I mean, is it 100? Absolutely not. But I mean, when he can put 96 exactly where he wants it, and it's coming on the back of a mid-80s changeup with movement like that, I mean, his 96 probably looks north of 100. And I always thought in my head he might have been a 92, 95 guy. I often forget that he can get up there too, and he's just so consistent and so accurate with it. Obviously I'm biased because he's a Philly, but give me a guy like Chris who can still, throw hard 95 plus, but doesn't live and die on it.
Exactly. And, you kind of see that with Andrew Painter a little bit, the live or die on the fastball. I mean, he's looked better recently. He had, one rough inning against the Cardinals, but his last 3 starts were good. Some scoreless ball. He had no hit ball in that Cardinals outing through like 5 innings. But he lives and dies on that fastball getting up there, and it's just not getting up there after that surgery. So
no, he can still dial it up to the high 90s, but there's no run. I mean, it is an arrow.
It's an arrow, yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to get lucky the rest of the way. He is he is your 5th starter probably the rest of the season. If like we talked about it early, if we can count on him for 5-3 with the occasional 5-4 sprinkled in, like if he leaves the game in the 6th and we have a chance at winning it, I can get by with that. Just don't be a liability. I saw there was a stat where, and Nola's no better. I mean, we had lost the last 17 games that the 4 and 5 pitcher had started. I mean, that's just not sustainable. The other 3, fortunately for us, have been sensational. So we've been able to keep our head above water. But we need to be able to go. I mean, on the low end, you got to win 40% of those games. I'm not expecting us to come out ahead, but I mean, we got to at least be in them.
Yeah, you got to be in them, and it hurts because I wish we still had Ranger to pitch some of those games because it was a nice luxury while we had it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, our 4th starter was disgusting. Like, I mean, our 4th starter had the 2nd best ERA in playoff history behind Sandy Koufax.
It's ridiculous how good we had it, and we couldn't capitalize on a World Series in that time frame. It disgusts
I'll say
me.
it. Well, then you're on the same boat. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. 2023 had to be it.
Dude, I was there. I firsthand pain. It was
that
when Bohm hit the home run.
Was wide open.
When Bohm hit the home run, I thought, "Oh my gosh, this is it." And nothing happened, and here we are, 2 years later, a couple years later. It's just that was the window as to what the Kawhi shot was to the Sixers.
Yes. Absolutely.
But the Kawhi shot was so miraculously stupid. Even looking back at it, like it was a miracle.
Forced. If you remember, the Sixers now the bench sucked in that era, but I mean, Joel was unbelievable in Toronto. Obviously, you had Jimmy Dilly. I felt bad for the Sixers, like that. They won that game.
That was a crazy shot. The Phillies had 9 innings to hit. They just didn't do it.
And I feel nothing. And they dropped game 6 and 7. That's the difference.
At home, in Red October, in front of the wildest home crowd, they showed up because I had hearing loss for like a week after that game. They showed up.
That was the day, I think, and it's been proven over since then. That was the day that Red October died. We still say it. We still do it. But since then, it hasn't been a scary place to play. The Mets have beat us at home over and over again. The Dodgers came in and beat us at home. I mean, the fans still show out. They still get loud-ish. But, I mean, people were talking about 21-22 CBP like it was, LSU at home, Bama at home, Texas. Like, it was an SEC football stadium. It's not that now.
We got to recapture the magic somehow, and I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, could it happen in one of the other stadiums across the parking lot? Maybe.
It could, but you can't fool, and we'll end on this because I want to get back to watching this one now. We're running out of game, but you can't fake. You can't fake it in Philly, and Philly fans can't fake the passion that they have. That's why we are the way that we are. If those fans walking into the stadium don't genuinely love and believe in that team, you're not going to get 22, 23 CBP again. Like that, the reason that was so crazy was in 22, we were starved for it. And this group of guys brought us back, and we would do anything to keep it going. And then, 23, you just love the team. Like the story, they beat, they kicked the Braves' ass at home, the stare down. Like you just loved that team. And you can't fake it. And I don't think, at least with me, that same love affair isn't there for this team.
Yeah, no, it's not. And the Braves gave us the energy both times. Like, it was immaculate.
That matters. Because you got that, like, you had that rivalry right off the bat. I mean, especially you think of 22, where, the Cardinals, you have that incredible comeback where, Segura walks it off and wins it. Then you're going home to CBP, first playoff game in forever. You got the Braves you hate more than anybody coming into your park. And it was like the 2017 NFC Championship game and at the Link. Like, it didn't matter who was coming through the door. Nobody was beating that team. And, obviously what happens. You beat the Braves. There you go on this magical run. It's incredible. But you're right. We haven't had the last 2 years. You win the division and you have to face the Mets right off the bat and you get embarrassed at home. It changes things.
It changes a lot. Like, we've been harping on it. You're losing the goodwill of this city. And I think we've been talking about it and teasing it forever. And, fans have still shown up. I give them so much credit. I give all the fans so much credit for still showing out for this team, even though all the heartbreak that we've endured as baseball fans recently. But I feel like it's coming to an end. Like I feel like we are at the end point. And Dave's going to go. Mattingly's gone. Like, I don't see the future for this Phillies team. Like, you see the future for the Flyers because they're young and they're hungry.
Yeah.
You see the future for the Sixers, even post LeBron. You're still going to have Maxey, JB, and BJ. You see the future for the Eagles. They have this ferocious defense with Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell. You have all these young guys on defense, Jahad Campbell, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Like, you have a group over there. You have a core young group that will compete into the future for all these teams. And then the Phillies, it's just a bunch of guys that are getting past their primes. There's no other way to put it.
No, and I mean, we knew this. Like, we had talked about it when you put this team together. Is you're taking irresponsibly big swings with the understanding that we're going to pick out a 5-year gap at best, and we're going to throw everything that we have at it for these 5 years and try to go win a title. And that's how this team has operated. It hasn't been for the future, and I argue that it shouldn't have been. You had a window right now to go try and steal one, and that's what you got to go do. But if you win, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to Trey Turner, that deal, who cares? JT, that deal, whatever, because you're going to look back on them like that 08 team, and it's all going to be good. But because they likely aren't going to win one, now you're about to be plunged into the 2010s all over again without that title to look back on fondly. It's going to be, if this year goes the way we all think it's going to go, this next era of Phillies baseball is going to be more frustrating than the 2010s were. And that's a really grim thought.
It's going to be worse because you're stuck in all these contracts. You're not getting off. Like, sure, because, at least these guys had some left in the tank, like Rollins and Utley, that other teams at least wanted them for, their veteran leadership, their World Series experience, so on and so forth.
You were able to get out of the deal. You didn't get anything back, but you were able to shed the
These
deal.
guys have no trade clauses.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
They will finish their career here.
Trey's got, 10 more years?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, so, Trey will be an anchor for a very long time.
It's going to get really bad because
it's really just the Trey contract that you really need to worry about because
Bryce could DH.
Bryce can age into the DH spot eventually. It depends on how long Schwarber wants. You work that out. Bryce
That's
can age
fine.
back into first base. Like, there is a path forward to where he's a helpful MLB player until he retires. Turner, you're right. I mean, we're on E now, and there's 10 years left. That JT deal is going to be a brutal 3 years because, I mean, this is probably his last year as a starting quality catcher. And I'm using that term very lightly right now.
You're really using the number 30 generously.
Yes. Yeah, he is technically a starting caliber catcher only because our backup catcher is a DJ and our third string catcher is somehow a worse hitter than the DJ is. But I mean, other than that, I mean, we're not leveraged too long in the future. It's the trade deal is the devastating one. I mean, like you said, Schwarber, we only are tied to for, I think, 4. Marsh, you can see what you want to do. Oh, no, sorry. The Nola deal's horrendous. I apologize.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah, the Nola deal's real bad. That's
so
we have 5 years of that left, I think.
So you have 2 just deals stinking up the salary cap space on both ends. I mean, like you said, Schwarber will be fine. He'll age well. It's no problems there. Harper the same way. They're not known for their speed like Trey Turner is. And, the speed's the first thing to go. So it's already going a little bit.
And he can't do anything else. It's not like, he's not a good fielder. We can't put him somewhere that doesn't require speed. So he's really going to be a square peg in a round hole for this team. And, I mean, I'm pretty sure – I checked my numbers on this, but I think Knowles might be a top 10 AAV pitcher in the MLB right now.
Yes.
And he is one of the worst pitchers by ERA standards.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's going to end – at least pitchers go further, I guess. He is – oh, gosh. It just says the overpaid section, which we know that. All these sites that I don't know about. I'll find it. But anyway, yeah.
I think he's in there.
Which contract do you think is going to age the worst? It's probably going to be Trey, right?
Yeah, I mean, just by default. I mean, Nola is going to age really, really poorly, but it's shorter. I think he's got 5 left on it, I want to say. Maybe 6.
Okay. I don't think he's in the top. I think he's right outside the top 10.
Okay.
Because actually, I don't know. The numbers are the number they listed is confusing and not in order, even though they say it's in order.
Okay. Yeah. Well, either way, the argument remains he's getting overpaid. But no, Trey's definitely going to age the worst. Like you said, there's not a spot for him anymore, even now, and we're 10 years away from this thing ending.
Well done. I got you. He is 11th, I think. 11th or 12th. Michael King and Ranger make just more than him, which they're both productive pitchers.
Okay, so tomato. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to double check because I was interested myself.
Yeah, so
I want to see how bad it was. So you're dedicating what, 60 to 70 mil on zeros?
Yeah, it's gonna get dark. And you look at our farm system, and we haven't developed anybody. I mean, there's no one coming to save us. Aiden Miller hasn't swung a bat this year. He probably won't.
Renteria's coming to save us. That's who.
Renteria's a ways away, but sure.
He hits triples, man. That's all I care about.
Marquez, we're going to see how that shakes out.
But guess what? Howie's going to keep Quignon and Cooper and all those guys in Philly for the foreseeable future. I mean, Mike Gansey, GM extraordinaire, is going to keep VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey in Philly. So, there's going to be some dark years, but Philly is overall a destination city. It was proved that a long time ago. You brought in Bryce Harper, you brought in Kyle Schwarber, you brought in Trey Turner, even though the contract's terrible. You brought in Saquon Barkley. That could be a little bit aside because he's from the area, so you don't really have to count that. You could, but you bring in LeBron James. This is a destination city. People want to play here. They know how crazy the fans are if you're doing good.
They want
that. They want that. I mean, Bryce said it himself all those years. He wants the fans to keep being crazy. It's just what the city is. You don't get that in LA or you don't get that in New York. You get that in Philadelphia each and every night. And I can't wait to see, I know I'm changing the subject of basketball a little bit. I can't wait to see the fans just re-energized and hyped, showing up to, what is it? The Xfinity Center now? The Xfinity Arena?
Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Yeah, I got to get used to that. I was about to call it Wells Fargo, but
it's bittersweet for me personally. I mean, obviously, I would trade it all for a Sixers title. So please don't get me wrong. But I've been so fortunate to get to go to 6 or 7 Sixers games a year for the longest time since 2013. I've never been to less than 5 in a year.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy.
That has ended. That has ended. Tickets are going for over $1,000 a seat. This podcast is not monetized.
No.
So I do not have it.
We're going to see them against the Memphis Grizzlies, my guy. Let's do this.
Yeah, so I'll be watching from home, but I will be intently watching.
Hey, that one game is going to be a lot cooler if you get to the one game instead of the 5. I'm just going to say that.
It is going to be awesome. So we'll get back to the Phils. It's top 7 here. Next week, I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to talk about football coming up and LeBron.
Eagles start tomorrow.
Eagles are back. So, next week will be a dual sport episode. But in the meantime, I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. This is the Passing Report, and we'll see you next week.